All right, we're back with Rick DELLARATTA, and I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned when we're talking about allowing it, when things seem to be like you're depressed, don't see how things could end well.
Allow it to come to you. Allow the answers to come. Don't try to find the answer right this second yourself, or you're going to jump off a building. Allow life to come to you. And the answers.
To which, when we're talking about art, and we mentioned Vincent Van Gogh,
Right.
And you
Another
said he
problem.
cut off his ear,
Yes.
sold it for a prostitute, I don't know, and then he killed himself, but then he became famous. If he had just, what would have been the way he could have not ended his life, allowed it?
Right.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I can. Most of these situations that we're talking about are literally fractals. There's scenarios where, we're brought up to invest in the public sentiment, invest into what others think, invest into everything else except what you think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yet, our soul will not allow us to leave a certain truth that we have, right?
Right.
So we paint a daffodil over and over and over again, and we know this is our truth, this new way of painting, this original style, this reflection of the times of now, of today, okay? This is our truth. We can't leave it. Yet we want this truth to be respected by this phony society. We want this square peg to be placed in this hole. So what can happen? Everything. People can destroy you just for laughs. Anything can happen to you. And what happened to Vincent was he really didn't sell a painting his whole life, not even one.
I didn't know that.
Yes, but this is another situation where I feel we can advance as a species. No artists, great artists, the artists that we consider revered, none of them were ever heard by 1% of the people on this earth during their lifetime. So here's the problem. When you do get to hear a Mozart, a Thelonious Monk, a Beethoven, it's as a derivative because you're hearing them in an era that they never lived in. They're expressing the here and now. They're expressing the truth as it stands around them, as it is in the moment. If you listen to it 100 years later, they don't know what the heck you're in. They don't know,
So what should,
it's a derivative.
What could...
It's easier for you to enjoy because, it's less... See, it's more painful to hear it at the beginning, maybe, right in that thing, because more truth is being exposed. The solution would be for the arts and culture to be every bit as respected as anything else. And you can tell it's being disrespected when you look at someone out there trying to solve a problem on TV that you even think is sincere. Do you ever see them bring up the arts and culture? They'll never bring it up. And if you contact them, they'll just throw you on their Substack mailing list. They'll throw you, and you'll get Substacks from them that never mention the arts and culture. They'll just throw you on their mailing list. And so, in other words, they are almost a whack-a-mole situation. If they get into power, they're going to make the same mistakes because they're not putting the arts and culture on the team. You follow me? When you go out with the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s, would you leave Michael Jordan on the bench? I don't think so. You'd put him in the team. But they're going out to the game and leaving the arts and culture, the star player now. Star player on the bench. They don't even play him in overtime. They put the star on the bench. The star of this whole show is the arts and culture, right? Because the arts and culture has humanity. The arts and culture is what cuts through everything.
So back to Vincent, though, what might he done to allow himself to not end his life, but to open up to the allowance?
Well, again, this is where we all have this challenge, but we all have to do the same thing. All of us, whether it's Vincent or anybody else, has to open up to the fact that we are just mortals and we ourselves cannot get ourselves out of nothing. And good luck. Watch me try to get myself out of a jam. I can't really do it. I have to be calm. I have to look at the scenario and I have to let the world turn and I have to play a good game of life. each and every minute of each and every day. It's easier said than done. We can all say it, who can do it. But if you do it and you have a great day on this planet because you've come up with things that inspire you and fulfill your soul and stuff like that, man, it's going to be hard for you to pull the trigger. I'm sorry. It's just going to be really hard. You're going to be like, well, geez, I'm still flat broke, but damn, if I could have another day like today tomorrow, I think I'll take a flyer and stick around.
We were discussing this earlier. You said because they couldn't see the light and they can't see Van Gogh paintings making any money, you have to allow it. And I said, what? The light, to trust the universe that you'll be shown the light in an impossible situation.
Right. If you look at people, you'll see that they look at making it as an artist and getting the respect from these scumbags, really, that own the art gallery or whatever, that's never going to respect him ever. Yeah. That's what he sees as
money.
As money and justification, all that stuff. But guess what? That's not really always what it is.
You can never have enough money.
Yeah, you can never have enough. But not only that, that's not the way. I mean,
why don't you just go work at a bank and make some money if it's all just for money?
Well, now you're in the story of the man in the boat. You ever heard that story?
No.
He's in Mexico. It's a Mexican guy. He's in a little fishing boat, and he's pulling up. And the guy sees him. The vacationer sees him, right? And this is vacationer from Goldman Sachs or whatever, who's paying all the money. Comes out of the ritzy hotel, comes up to the guy. Hey, what you doing? The guy says, well, I'm catching a few fish, and then I'm going to feed my family. Oh, well, I have an idea for you. Why don't you get a fleet of these boats and then rent them out and then do this and then do that and then trade it publicly on the stock exchange, Manuel's boats, and then gets to sell the stock and then become a shareholder and then sell your shares into the open, blah, 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 and pile it out with $28 million. And he said, great, how long will that take? Well, that'll take about 22 years. Okay, great. And then what will I do? Well, then you can get a little fishing boat and sit in it and go out and catch fish and bring it home to your family.
Why not just do that now?
Right?
22 years earlier.
He told the guy what he's already doing. Do you see what I mean? So here's the bottom line. All I did was what I'm telling you. That's all I did. I had no solution, right? And all of a sudden, I got a call in the pandemic from a guy from Nigeria. Hi, I want you to be on what's a podcast? And he pipes it in and he wants to talk to me. Actually, the first person that wanted me to be on his podcast, he contacted me and he said, I've been studying you, I've been looking at you, and I want you to be on my podcast, but I have to tell you something. I said, what? I have to do 3 podcasts with you. I'd never even been on one podcast. I said, well, why? He said, because I have to do one on Just Jazz for Peace. Then there is Rick DeLLARAtta, and then there is your music. So I did 3. So when I did 3 podcasts on my first one, I was like, wow, this could have legs here. I don't know. Then I think after that, the guy from Nigeria. But my point is, there was no such thing as a podcast. So I could have shot myself long. I could have done that. And then, because you don't know what the universe is going to bring. You only know that this idiot out here is going to freaking stomp on you every chance he gets from now until eternity. But he's not the universe.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't want to know what the universe is going to do because there'd be no surprise, no adventure, no
Well,
spontaneity.
actually, you can't know. So the bottom line is you're going to be surprised whether you like it or not. So when you open yourself up and you allow the world to turn and for you to give your best effort every day, right? And there's so many ways you can do it. I mean, painting is one of them, but he could have done other stuff with his day besides maybe gone to a brothel and drink. Maybe there were other options that were more, fulfilling for him. We don't know. But I mean, if you do that and you let the world turn, that problem might not be there in a few months. You know what I mean? It might not be there. And then sometimes you go away somewhere and you go, and all of a sudden you come back and the world has changed and that problem isn't the same. It might still be bad, but it's different. It's different and it might be navigatable. You just don't know let the world turn sometimes.
Yeah.
Let it turn.
You're going to play Starry Night.
I'm going to play a song about Vincent Van Gogh because we've been talking about him. Don McLean wrote this. And it's called Starry, Starry Night. And see, what I'm really going to do is I'm going to try to do what I just said. And so I'm going to allow something to happen in the here and now based on this backdrop, based on where I am, based on the way the world is turning, the vibe of the world. But I'm going to start out where we left off, which is Vincent Van Gogh, and this is a song written by him by Don McLean. Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer day with eyes that know the darkness of my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Shadows on the hill, catch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in the summer on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. starry night. Paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul, shadows on the hill. Sketch the trees and daffodils, catch the breeze in the winter chills, in colors on the snowy linen land.
Rick DeLLARAtta. Nice.
Thanks.
Good show, man.
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
You know, whatever.
Let's set up and go for a bike ride or go lunch or whatever.
Sure, something like that.